And I say this as again as someone who has, I've walked that border, I've ridden that border, I've flown it, I've driven it. I know that border, I think, as well as anyone.
Do you think it's secure?
And I will tell you, it is as secure now as it has ever been.
Under the law that we tried to pass in 2007, it required border state governors to say that the border was secure along their border, their state border. Knowing what you know about Arizona, and Mr. Chairman, if you'd indulge me a little bit, I'd appreciate a little more time. Would you certify that the Arizona border is secure?
If I were I were asked that question now in this position, first of all, it's an unfair question, and that's why the Board of Governors.
If that is an unfair question,
well,
then it would be news to the people of the United States and Arizona. If it's unfair to ask a simple question, is the border secure, then we're never going to have the confidence to get it secure, because it is a fair question. And I'll give you my answer. I don't think it is. I think since last effort to solve immigration, the border security has deteriorated. Along with your best efforts, there's more to be done, and there's a war going on. And you can't ignore the fact that the border is more dangerous because of the war in Mexico, which requires more action, not less.
I'm not pinging on immigrants, because if I lived in a place that was so terrible I couldn't support my family or put a roof over my head or even find a toilet to go to the bathroom, I would be coming across this border just as quick as they are. You can't fault them for that. It's illegal. You can fault the government for allowing it to happen because it's illegal, it's unlawful. And they're always talking about we got to follow the law. Truth is, we only have to follow the law that they think is okay. Why do they want these people coming across our borders? Because these people are helpless. They're without money, they're without a home, they're without a job. What are they? Victims. What do victims bring? Give them the vote and you're going to have socialism. That's why they don't try to stem the flood of immigration. It furthers the agenda of socialism. I feel sorry for those people. They're being used. And their only thought is to find a good place where they can have a good life for themselves and their children. They're being used and abused. And they all become good little Democrats. They all vote socialist. And they all want their handouts from under Uncle Sam. There are some who came into this country many years ago of many different nationalities who have learned the American way, are good Americans, are not immigrants. They are Americans. And they've established and have a sound place in this country. They're part of it. But they're being used. They can't speak the language. Because they can't speak the language, it's hard to find a job. When they find a job, it's not at the pay that they would like to have. So they look to the government to solve their problems. Does everybody understand what I'm telling you? You've often wondered, why is it that they don't do anything about this flood of immigrants coming across the border? And I'm not talking about just Hispanics from Mexico, Central and South America. I'm talking about from all over the world. They come here for a better life, not realizing that in coming here and being manipulated and used as they are, they're going to destroy all of their chances forever having the American dream. They're going to help bring about socialism, which will put them back into slavery again. And that's got to stop. You have to understand the agenda. You have to understand who's bringing it about and why before you can see the manipulations and how people are being used and manipulated to bring it about.
So here's the point. I want everybody to listen carefully to this. We have gone above and beyond what was requested by the very Republicans who said they supported broader reform as long as we got serious about enforcement. All the stuff they asked for, we've done. But even though we've answered these concerns, I've got to say I suspect there's still going to be some who are trying to move the goalposts on us one more time. You know, they said we needed to triple the Border Patrol. Or now they're going to say we need to quadruple the Border Patrol. Or they'll want a higher fence. Maybe they'll need a moat Maybe they want alligators in the moat. They'll never be satisfied.
And it's still raining. I want all of you to do something now. Sit back. Close your eyes. On the back of your eyelids, draw a picture of the United States of America and all of its possessions. Draw a map. And on that map, put a dot for every city and town in this great nation and in its possessions. Now, if you're like me, it'd take you forever to count those dots, because just in the state of Arizona, there's an awful lot of little towns and cities. A lot of them. Now, we're talking about the whole nation and all of the possessions of the United States of America. Now, take yourself to the street corner of any town that you want to in this nation, or any of its possessions. And understand that at any given moment, hour, day, week, month, or year, if you have enough money in your hand, you can buy any quantity of any kind of dope, drug, narcotic that you can think of. At any moment, day or night, any hour, any day, week, month, or year, day or night. Now, can you imagine the supplies of drugs that have to be entering this country to accomplish that? Can you imagine? Understand that it's not Colombian drug lords bringing those drugs into this country. They're coming in under the protection of the umbrella of national security. Ladies and gentlemen, it's still raining. When is it ever going to stop? How is it ever going to stop? How in the world and who are we going to get to stop the rain? I know from my stint with the Office of Naval Intelligence that George Herbert Walker Bush, when he was the President and CEO of the Offshore Division of Zapata Oil,
was the man responsible for bringing the drugs into this country. He organized the first large-scale drug smuggling operations from Central and South America that came to the offshore oil platforms, and from there into the beach by the normal crew conveyance, and thus skirted detection by law enforcement or customs officials. And it's still raining, still storming. And until we as a people, until we as a nation wake up and take our power back and reinstate the Constitution as the supreme law of this land, the storm will continue to get worse, and it will continue to rain, and there will be no sunshine for this nation. For the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, is scheduled for extinction. Understand that you will have no rights. The United Nations Charter has no individual rights for individual human beings. There's no freedom of religion, no freedom of speech, no protection from unreasonable search and seizure. No guarantee that you will not be made to testify against yourself. There's no writ of habeas corpus. There is no guarantee of just compensation for property confiscated or seized. There is no nothing. No nothing. There are no guarantees of any kind. Are you ready and willing to give up everything that humanity has worked for in the history of this earth? All of man's efforts to be free, to be responsible, to walk in a divine state of grace, responsible upon this earth? Or are you going to give it all away? And for what? And for what?
Let me begin by saying from the moment that I signed into law Senate Bill 1070, the Support Our Law Enforcement and Safe Neighborhood Act, Arizona has been preparing for this day. Because the facts have too often been lost in the rhetoric, let's reflect on what has brought us here today. Arizona did not ask for this fight, nor did it seek out the task of having to confront illegal immigration. We cannot forget that we are here today because the federal government has failed the American people regarding immigration policy, has failed to protect its citizens, has failed to preserve the rule of law, and has failed to secure our borders. The failure to secure the border has created issues we now face regarding illegal immigration, and Arizona, without question, bears the brunt of that failure.
Now, while everyone may agree that the status quo isn't working, what everyone may not be aware of is how much the immigration landscape has changed since comprehensive reform efforts failed in 2007. Now, I've been dealing hands-on with immigration issues since 1993, so trust me, I know a major shift when I see one, and what I have seen makes reform far more attainable than this time around. For starters, the security of the southwest border has been transformed from where it was in 2007.
All right. Noticed something wasn't right. Saw a gate was open where it wasn't supposed to be. There's 4 bundles. That's dope. You can see I cut it open right here to see what's in there. And there it is. So, good job. Gonna call Border Patrol now.